on Facebook and YouTube.
It should be able to still hear us, but we just don't want to hear the feedback from our computers. Yeah. Okay. We're good to go. All right. So, how would you prefer me to introduce you to me? I know you have a spiritual name, which I love the story. It's beautiful, and I would like to hear more about how Aminata came about.
Aminata would be great.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. To everyone who's here and for the recording, Dr. Kemp and I, or Aminata, have released our recent book, Women Connected in Wisdom, Volume 2, and we both shared stories. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how that came about and what Aminata is doing currently and her purpose and how she's contributing her wisdom to the world. And I'm right here learning along with you. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it as we learn how to use these various, technology platforms. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy to talk with you because I know you're a poet. So I love language and, doing the best we can, testifying as to what is going on in our lives, what we're noticing, what we're feeling, and sharing it with other people.
Right. So I read the chapter today. I really resonated it on multiple ways. Would you like to share a little bit about your background, why that story came about, and why mycelium running?
A little bit about my background. So I grew up in the South Bronx, although I was born in Mississippi. But I grew up as a New Yorker from a very young age. And one of the things that you probably know about New Yorkers is we tend to move fast. And, we can be a little loud, and one of the things so my chapter is called Black Girl Mycelium Running, and it's about how recently I've looked back on my life and noticed how much of it I've spent running away from, running to avoid. And for me, it started as a teenager girl. When I hit puberty in New York, all of a sudden I became, I felt like there was open season. All kinds of men of various ages felt like they could talk to me and verbally assault me while pretending to compliment me and dissect me. It was just like, it was pretty scary and difficult. And so I developed this habit of walking really fast to avoid having to be around and engage with people, with men.
I also I ran cross country as a younger girl. I never had the high coordination for sport. And with running, pretty cool. You don't have to buy a lot of gear. You can just hit it. So I resonate with the running. It was my stress relief. To express emotion. With running, I was a long distance runner. I read that you were a sprinter. With the long distance running, I was able to channel rage. At the time, I didn't know it was rage. Into let me see how hard I can push my body and be in my body for hours at a time, running 10 to 12 miles a day. Right. I didn't realize I was processing oppression through running. So when I read your chapter today, I said, that's what that is. Because if I sit still, the rage is going to come out. I'm going to speak. So now here I am in this new, identity as an author and a speaker. and the rage is coming out through prose and poetry and beauty. But the root of it is pain,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of pain, especially as a woman. But I love this story. It connected with my heart so deep.
And I'd love to check in with you about what I said about long distance runners versus what I said about sprinters. Because, I was around sprinters a lot, right? And I've watched sprinting events in the Olympics and world championships, whatnot, right? What I said in the story is that sprinters don't actually like to run. We just like to win. And it seems to me like long distance runners actually like to run because they spend a lot of time running.
Yeah, you have to like it. You have to at least something about it. Committing to the run for hours. And why mushrooms? I know a little bit about mushrooms. I have all of Paul's Spanish books. I wanted to grow my own mushroom lab. And this is a network that's constantly aligning that we're walking through all the time. So how does that connect that connection in your story? Winning and come down and being a woman of color fighting through the patriarchy, basically. How did that all just mesh into that beautiful story?
Yeah. Well, I remember when I started writing this story, it was early in the morning. I was by myself. I was at the dining room table. And I was just feeling quiet. It was like a gray winter morning. I was just feeling quiet. And I just started to write. And one of the things that I felt as I just got kind of was writing a little, meditating, kind of sinking deeper and deeper into my consciousness and into opening to messages or guidance, earth consciousness. I just felt like I was getting into a place that was very dark, underground, moist, and deep. Sometimes we say dark, that makes people think scary, but I actually meant dark like womb, like a space to grow, underground. So anyway, I just got this sensation of being connected to mycelium, and whereas it seems to me like the mycelium runs underground and you can't see it. It's weird that it's only recently entered at least in the United States or North America, our consciousness. There's mycelium, that what you see is these fruited bodies are the mushrooms, but it's the mycelium that are growing for miles. I don't know, that whole idea that there's stuff happening unseen and that the unseen powers the seen. That's been a relatively recent insight for me, really only since 2021-ish, So, so why mushrooms? Because mushrooms to me embody the whole thing about the unseen driving the scene, and how if you only pay attention, if you can only perceive at one level, you're missing a whole nother level of support. And around 2021, when I had this spiritual awakening, I was starting to perceive these other layers, of support, other layers of reality.
How do you identify with the unseen powering the visible?
How do I identify with the unseen what?
fact that some guys see everything that powers and you see the brain, the intelligence behind life as we do the tree, the sky. We don't think about fungi in the process of fungi to create whole. How do you identify with that?
I identify with that. Well, so it makes me think about the parts of reality that I'm not seeing. Like, for example, when I felt really bad, when I feel really alone, when I feel really not good enough, when I feel guilty, when I feel overwhelmed. Usually that happens when I'm only seeing a certain slice. And if I can see deeper, then I won't perceive the story in the same way. And honestly, when I did journey with mushrooms or with plants, I really, well, actually, no, I don't think I even ingested any mushrooms when I had that insight about the unseen powering the seen. I think I was just hanging out, looking at the trees in my backyard. But that definitely got confirmed to me over time. How about you?
Yes, I was just thinking of that. I was at the river yesterday, and I'm sitting with someone with a legs in the water. You can notice that our legs, our bodies are creating in the water. We're witnessing our feet in the water. And then a couple later, the woman, she says she admires the tree. That's right. And then because she brought the tree into my, I started noticing another ripple that would seem to emanate from the tree towards us. And I was like, oh, that tree is energy here in this mix of people. And it's sending the information, sending it without it's not human language, but it's still a communication. That's what fungi does. That's what trees communicate. It's to remind me because I wouldn't have noticed that tiny little detail unless someone else pointed out in the awareness of it. And I can identify with that as a human being. The people who are in, the shadow part, not in like a dark way. People who are in the limelight, who don't voice that platform or they don't really see by society, and yet those are the people who are building the engine, really farming the land, making the medicine, spiritually leading this platform on the stage. So I realized in that just appreciation of how important everything is to the whole. And that worth that we need to remember sometimes our own self-worth as a human being. I'm hearing this, sending a message to everything around me. What am I thinking and why? Being conscious of what I'm feeling in return. Because even if someone or something isn't entering my body or speaking at me, it's still present. And there's a frequency there. And I can respond, I can match it, or I can choose another vibration. So nature teaches us so much. And I love that.
Yeah. I really like what you said about, we have a choice about matching a frequency. I've been thinking about what's been happening in the world a lot. And where do I put my attention right now? Where do I put my energy? Where do I put my love? Where, you talked about the person who pointed out the tree to you. So she directed your attention, or she invited you to put your attention somewhere else. And I feel like for so many of us and who care about justice and who care about, sharing of power and resources and who care about compassion, um, we want to acknowledge painful things as they're happening or acknowledge what has happened, in the past. And um, I also want to have awareness and appreciation for what is a tree adding in this moment. You know what I mean?
And I
Um,
can go into that. I know what it is. I didn't bring it up because it's intimate.
mhm,
I don't know how much you know about, I'm just learning about trees that grow together. Um,
mhm.
we call them trees, and that was a very spiritual tree to the Native Americans. And I just learned about it, and so I'm sitting in the river, and then she notices the tree, and I noticed it in the water first. Because she said, "Look at the tree in the water," and then I look up, and it's a tree I heard about earlier that day that was brought into my awareness by life, by the Creator. So I said, "Okay, that tree is making its presence known to me. Why? Why? Because I don't believe in coincidence, and I thought that was beautiful. It's like Earth is always listening. It's always present in the communication. Um, yeah, I'm still learning. I need to. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn about that tree. That tree said, "Learn about me." um, what is significance? It is a beautiful phenomenon for one tree to grow out of another tree, and it's not very common. So yeah, that's where I went in my consciousness that I mentioned earlier about.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. I think about how fast communication happens now, really, and how it's faster than what is humane. You know what I mean? So there's so much to constantly assimilate, and anyway, I'm just this whole thing about perception, consciousness, and awareness. This is what I have been slowing down to delve into, um, even even in the midst of urgency. I mean, right. So black girl mycelium running, right? So
Okay, yes, we're bringing it around. That was powerful for me to see that resonated with that. I was in survival mode, and I've been running, winning, and accomplishing, being successful, right? But I'm running from myself. I'm running from the stillness. I'm running away from presence because when I'm still, then I'm full to feel. And sitting in that is not comfortable. Um, Sitting in that is not comfortable for society. That's why we want it all fast and right now. So I'm learning to surrender to questions, let questions unfold. Sometimes I forgot what poet, maybe Maya Angelou or someone else. No, then it'll come back to me. Sometimes it takes years for an answer. There are years that you get, years that you get answers. Um, our ego hates it so much because I can go get a cheeseburger made in 30 seconds right now. So why do I need an answer? Wait. And when I wait, I get bitter and that rage and the devastation of it overwhelms us. Um,
hmm,
but the power to sit still and see emptiness and feel it, then I can release it and let go, and that is powerful. But that is a dark medicine we want to avoid. Therapy, therapy, for example. Um, the manifestation of disease, such as cancer, it takes years for that to build up. That started as an emotional wound.
Mm.
That started as a denial of something I don't want to look at face and feel.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yes, Zorno Hurston. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Thank you. I had no idea.
Yes.
Mm.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. The stillness versus the running, and when sometimes I like to say sometimes spirit will knock on the door, it's telling you to stop, slow down, and eventually the door gets closed down and life make you sit, and oftentimes it could be a health disorder, car accident, something that your life changes in an instant and you're left sitting in it. So I'm wondering what crossroad for you. You finally started to surrender and allow and breathe and heal.
Yeah. Well, you said it. I mean, the body, right? The body absolutely keeps the score. And for me, one of my wake up calls came when I was leading a workshop and I had to have an emergency root canal. And the reason why I had to have an emergency root canal was because I had gone to the dentist, or no, I had an appointment coming up, but I was so busy, even when there was some pain, I just was like, I'll just wait till my appointment to bring it up to her. And when I got to the dentist, she said, "Why didn't you contact me? Why did you wait?" And I was like, I was busy. I was busy. And then, of course, the emergency root canal meant that, I couldn't be there to teach the second half of a 2-day workshop. And nobody was quite prepared because it was an emergency. You know what I mean? So, and the other thing was I was at a coaching session where I was being coached on how to scale, and I just started crying. I just started crying. And because I did not want to scale, I wanted to stop. But, I felt like I couldn't just stop. I had to build it up to the point where it could go on without me, which required, you know, more energy, more people, the whole situation. So when I cried in this coaching session, um, I finally was willing to listen to myself because it was a session where I was tapping into my true self. And it wasn't like I was in a deep hypnosis or anything. It was just like, let's breathe into our hearts. Think about a time when you felt loved. Okay, now, what does your true self say? And she was like, Amanda. I mean, it was like, boom. Amanda has to stop everything, everything. I mean, I said it 3 times. And I just decided to believe myself. So that's what happened.
Why is believing in yourself so hard?
I mean, granted, there's a lot of things that go through my mind that are not true and that make me suffer. So it's not like everything that goes through my mind is helpful.
Yes.
Yes. And I think it's that thing about discerning where is something coming from. Where is it coming from? Which part of the physical body is that thought at?
Right.
I mean, these are things that take time and validation. So, and as you mentioned success earlier, winning, that wasn't how I was winning, by taking time and validating and investigating. I'm was used to being a very decisive and kind of impetuous decision maker because I hate the discomfort of not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So some people get stuck and they stay. And Black Girl Mycelium Running, she just goes.
This similar situation for me. I thought to be successful and heal generational wounds, poverty. I had to be a doctor. I set myself on that path very early. Um, I was pretty much a foot in the door into medical school and got really sick. And I wanted to heal people. How can I heal people if I'm not healed? Um, so I had to trust. I said, Spirit, I'm surrendering my life. I want to heal, be a healer, but I want to live my life how you want me to live. Please guide me on that path, no matter what it takes. Because I was at the point where I was throwing up every day. I couldn't even hold a pencil in my hand. And I said, why am I doing this? Why am I healing myself? It's completely antithetical to the mission of wanting to help people heal. I have to be that example first. And I let go of that identity. And that was a huge shift in my life. Young age. And I keep going through those shifts of wanting to attach to identities, to control in my life, to make sense of things. And then I start getting sick. It's kind of off track. The more off track I get, okay, maybe you're 26, you're getting an ulcer. Maybe you shouldn't work this job anymore. And being willing to let go, trusting there is a path. And it's not looking not like what I wanted, what I thought. So for me, it was trust. Trust in a higher purpose, a higher self, God even. Keep surrendering all the time. And right now it's manifesting beautifully. And it kind of always is. The story is always unfolding. But by the time you finally let go, it's just in time. I think we just hold on a little bit longer than we need to.
For sure. I mean, really, over here, for sure. Gripping, Um, so I'm happy for you, honestly, that you were able to have that. You were able to give over in a way that felt very, I assume it felt good to you, or I mean,
it's a peace that washes over me when I finally allow myself truth, authenticity, genuine peace, health. It's a peace, even if it can look like complete annihilation of my whole sense of being. I don't know how I'm going to get a money next, a check. I don't know if I'll ever have a voice of authority and leadership in my society if I don't have that doctor behind me, or if I'm not working that 9 to 5 job that promises me. I don't know, but it's still giving me peace to say no to it. And the peace is what I'm following, and having peace in the question, in the darkness, in the mystery. But once I have the strength, the courage to find peace in that space, then it feels like I can accomplish anything. Because I trust, because I've been in this space before. I've been in this space of not knowing before, or feeling like I can't survive this, and yet I do. So why not say yes to something greater that's promising me more health? Why not say yes? Because if I keep saying yes to the other thing, it's leading me on a path to death. Whether that's metaphoric or literal. My joy, before I even physically get, I really joy leave my soul. Happiness. Your light just kind of and I'm all about reclaiming that. I believe in reclaiming joy as freedom and purpose and strength as a service for other people. Because then I have something to pour, and then I have something to give. So I include myself in my medicine.
Yes.
And that changed a lot for me.
Well, I just look at your face and I just see a lot of light, coming out, So um so there it is. There it is. And here, what I'll say for me is that um I I have felt more, I've had more days of gratitude, of joy, of bliss, of appreciation, of feeling loved and safe since taking this turn, toward the trees and the mushrooms and towards the earth as my comfort and partner. Um, than when I had more money, but I felt more fear,
Right.
anxiety, unsafe, you know? So,
Why do you think that is? And I know you know. I'm asking
hmm,
for people who are listening to this later because I think that's going to be the question. The question is how do I surrender and trust the flow? That's
mm,
what I define. That's what nature teaches me. There's a flow and a cycle and a structure without control.
without control. Is that what you
Without
said?
control, yeah, it is naturally abundant. When I stop controlling things, my natural state is abundant.
Mm.
So I forgot the question I asked you. Oh yes, it was. Why turn to your natural being, turn to nature for a promise,
Hmm.
for healing?
Why turn to nature for a promise for healing? Um, okay, let me give you an example. So I was just up in the mountains, right, this past week, and I went into a waterfall. It was in Georgia, cold waterfall in a pool. And I was with this guy, and he was like, he was getting in. And normally I'm like, I don't do cold water. I don't like winter. I don't like snow, you know. Uh, but I've been readjusting my attitude a bit. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get in. I'll get in a little, you know. And so, I put my feet in and then I put a little more. I put my lower legs. Finally, I put all of my legs in. I got up to my waist in some cold, 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 cold water.
I lost you
And oh, let me
on the
see.
phone. Oh, you're back.
Okay, good. Um, and the bottom line is that when I went in and I stayed in a while, and then I was like, okay, I need to take a little break from this cold water. I got out, walked around a little bit. All of a sudden, I just felt my spirit lift. I just felt grateful. I just breathed differently, and then I went in again, and then I decided to wash my face with this cold water, and um, it just it just helped me to feel loved.
To feel loved. That's the
Yes,
answer.
yes, I did. I felt loved and I felt well taken care of. So, so sometimes it happens when I just put my feet on the ground, I walk barefoot. I mean, put my head up against a tree, hug a tree, like a full whole body hug, smell the tree, like really feel it rubbing against my face. I mean, I guess what these things have in common is I'm getting very physical. I'm very in my body when I'm
Yes.
encountering nature like this. So that that combination makes me feel good.
When I talk about my love of nature and my connection to God, the divine spirit, it it turns some people away, it scares them. And when I talk about the experience of connecting to the divine in nature, it's a faceless love. It's a feeling, it's a connection, and it's an immersion. when I go into the water, when I go into the mountain forest, and everything else disappears, and I'm remembering home, home that is nourishing in all ways. It's beautiful, it's abundant, it's diverse, it's lush, it's wild, and it's a mirror of all that I am. Especially when I go into nature that's pristine and without humans in it. And it looks like every twig, you know this feeling. Have you ever been to somewhere so beautiful? It's like every rock and every twig, every leaf on the branch is perfectly placed. You know what I mean? That kind of beauty. And then you realize I'm a part of that. The same being that made that, this experience for me, and I'm made in the image of it. So I want to empower myself to say how much I love Mother Earth and how much I also love living the gospel and how much I appreciate Jesus and Christianity, how much I appreciate the works of the Tao and Buddhism and my indigenous self and witnessing, experiencing the immersion of the divine through all of it. I don't know. I wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that.
I love it. I love it. And, I think, I mean, I know we're evolving, right? And so what feels immediate, what gives us joy, let me just put it in me. What gives me joy at 57 at this point in my life is different than what gave me joy at 47. It's not that I was wrong at 47 or 37, you know. It's just that I'm where I am here. And at this moment, what gives me a sense of gratitude and connectedness and hugeness is having that immediate physical connection with the earth, and so it used to be scripture. I mean, I used to have this thing with the divine, um, and sometimes it was emotional or heartfelt, but a lot of times it was conceptual.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like physical, embodied. So, mm, that's just a difference. That's just a difference I'm noticing right now. And I was talking to a friend. I do miss, well, I do and I don't miss kind of uh, the institutional groundedness, repetition that when you are in when you're in an established religion or established religious path, that has all these certain rituals that get reinforced again and again, and lots of history, and you know, um, there's something very comforting about that. But when that doesn't speak to you anymore, and that's not alive for you, and you just do it because you have been doing it, or because it used to be good, or because people expect you to do it, then, like you said, you're walking away from your joy. You're just getting further and further away from it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe with nature, I don't know if I would have found my feminine empowerment without the nuance of it, the nourishment of it, being held by the earth mother when I'm in the water, in the cold water, in a waterfall, and I could let my hair down. And there's no eyes on me. I can be completely natural and naked. And I'm in the water, and it feels like paradise. It feels like heaven. And then I get out of the water and I sunbathe in the sun and I eat a juicy piece of fruit or some berries that I just picked right off the face of this river. I'm like, whoa, life is pretty awesome now.
Yes.
And I'm grateful to be here and forgive the pain of what it means to be here. but I'm also here to learn pain. I'm here to learn through it in love anyway. Pain walk through it. I needed this. I needed to be in this moment. I needed this connection that I can't ask a human to give me. That makes sense. I've been in a place of hermit and transformation and growth
Mm-hmm.
as a young woman. I'm single,
Mm-hmm.
and nature has helped me because it feels selfish for me to ask someone right now, "Can you hold me?" But I have a purpose to attend to.
Mm.
Nature, she just gives. She just is, and it's been enough
Mm.
for now
Mm.
in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
About
Mm-hmm.
human connection. Oh yes, I pray for it every day.
Mm.
It's been a beautiful acceptance of myself.
Mm. Mm. Hmm. 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 You know what's funny?
Oh,
Speaking
you
of that,
lost you.
oh no. Why did you
I know. I want to hear what you have to say. Oh, you're back.
Okay, it's these earbuds. I'm trying to.
I know it was too much. I wouldn't be like all this good.
Well, what I was going to say is, speaking about that, praying for that human connection, wanting the human connection, being on a purpose, really feeling content or satisfied or fed by nature, Um, I feel like that's like, where are you in your cycle? Where are you in your path, in your circle? You know, um, I remember at one point praying in my car. I was talking to my grandmother and my mother who had passed on. And I remember saying to them, I am lonely, you know, okay, you need to hurry it up. I need someone now. It had been a couple years. And I did meet the man who has become my husband, you know, within a couple weeks of making that declaration to my ancestors.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I've tried. I've been there. And, like, in the rain. It's hard. Like please, like I'm ready. I need that. It's been years, and it's okay. You know, and it gives me faith to know other women ahead of me have had the same prayer. And it was answered. I saw pictures of you too, and it's beautiful. I see the love. It's real, and it's like, I'll wait for that.
Yeah.
I can wait for that. I can.
Yeah. Yeah, that is wise. I'll wait for that. That is wise. And then I know women who are like 20 years ahead of me who don't have partners anymore for whatever reason. And I remember this one friend, she told me, she said, girl, I'm so glad I'm done. She's very content, with her life without a partner. And she has human connections in other ways. And I remember when she was first telling me that, I was like, wow, I can't imagine that ever being me. But I've had little peaks of that, little moments or glimmers of like, oh yeah, I could see that, having a very rich life. So much of the way we've been programmed is about sort of getting that partner, that singular, the one.
Mm-hmm.
What was the, did you already tell the community the name of your chapter and the book?
It's called Nature.
Yes, I remember. I loved your chapter, and I don't know for folks who are coming on. Maylee and I both are in Women Connected in Wisdom, Volume 2. We each have a chapter, and so yours is Our Divine Nature. Why did you want to focus on that? Like, why did you want to tell us about that?
I asked the same thing. Kind of the story chose me. It chose me to release it. I was telling you, I don't know why. Of all the things I could write, it had to be that one.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through the exact experience at the time when I heard about women connected in wisdom. She called me, and I was already going to write something that good. Like it was important, but I was going to write something. I'm in the process of writing it. She called and said, "For 24 hours." I said, I already knew that somehow, and I'm going to have it for you. I don't know what it is yet, but it's coming. And it came, and it flowed. I wrote it in a few hours. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment of capturing my life. And at the end of it, it really wasn't a love story, even though when I was in the emotion of it, I thought it was. And maybe it is. I still don't know. I'm in that question. But I appreciate that chapter in that moment of my life. I can see the love of the universe in every moment has been guiding me continuously in my life. And so I appreciate the love that came through and that has been orchestrating my life to what it is right now, even if I don't have all the answers. I don't.
Wow, I love that. I've been orchestrating my life to what it is now, even though I don't have all the answers.
It was a real story of people, and I just feel love and gratitude without having to make it a whole story itself. It just moments I captured in time. Appreciate. I'm gonna let it unfold and be what it is, and I hope it gives love forever. It's love. Maybe that's what I received from it. Because I'm not in contact with that person anymore. But that love will literally continue on forever because it made beautiful art. It made a beautiful story. And I hope it reminds people that love is literally everywhere. God is listening. And the love is real. And that's all I can say. Also, I'm 26, so there's time. don't know.
Time. You got so much time. Well, we don't know how much time you have, so being right, being real with what you do have, and bit by bit, minute by minute. Well, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise. I'd love to do it again, maybe offline, all this technology, but I really am grateful to be connected in your life somehow was orchestrated. And, it's been an honor and pleasure to speak with you, and I hope to be gifted with more opportunities to do that.
I would love to. And please give the land, give a little offering for me, a little pour of something, or a sprinkle of some flour. Yeah, so you're in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we get to spend time in nature or waterfall sometime together.
Yes. I would love that. I would really love that. I think, wouldn't it be nice if we could have some kind of like multiple day experience where, we're leading, but we're also following, we're taking turns, we're just in community.
So, I'm having a retreat, right? Because I'm taking people to my sacred spot, like my river spot, where I pray and I transform and read my first book, and building a sacred space community for 3 days. So that'll be November, and I know I'm called to host those spaces for as long as I live on this earth. I'll always be doing that. So I'm
Ooh,
saying there will be a time in our lives that I hope we can have that space together and drink
together and pray
and
together.
and eat some fruit.
yes, for sure. Wow.
It will
Yes.
happen.
Keep us all informed about the next time you have a retreat where you're going to take us to the circuit water. I would love to know about it and support or participate whatever way I can.
Awesome.
Yeah. And thank you for also affirming that, we can all share our sacred spots with people. We don't have to be somehow ordained or certified at all. We can just be like, this is my special spot and I want to share it with you. Oh, so I the Instagram left because my phone died. I guess
Put it
that's
on Instagram when I know you're talking on YouTube. Can you hear me on YouTube?
I have no idea why I can't hear you, but I can't hear you.
Okay. Hello?
Now I can.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So delayed. Thank you.
I'm going to go to bed. Good night.
Good night.